Hi, this is Bethany with Morgan James Publishing, and today I'm speaking with our author, Michelle Corrao. And Michelle is the author of Found, Triumph Over Fear with Grace and Gratitude, the Michelle Corrao story. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining me today.
Hi, Bethany. Thank you so much. It's great to be together today. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. We are so excited to dive into talking about your new book, Found, because you have such an incredible story. And I know it's so special for us to be able to publish your story in this book, and you've got so much to share with us. So I'd love to ask you some questions about your message and about your book. So the first thing I'd love to ask you today is if you could just tell us, why did you decide to write a book?
Sure, I'd love to share that with you. And there's lots of reasons, but I'm going to kind of condense it. I wrote my book about my journey of my abduction and brutal assault and being found out of the trunk of my car. And, when going through just even the ride to the hospital from being found out of the trunk of my car and being in the hospital for several hours and going through that process. But it was the drive home from the hospital the next day that I looked out my window and I saw cars passing by. And I actually wondered, I wonder what they're going through today. I wonder what they're facing today. And then I thought, how am I going to get through this? What am I going to do? How am I going to ever live life again? How am I going to figure this out? And all of a sudden, this denial sunk in that this really didn't happen to me. And then fear, how am I going to do anything in life again? I was immediately living in fear, and then anger sunk in. So I thought I've got to find somebody who's been through something similar, that I know that there's a possibility for me to be happy and live a happy, successful life, because hope was not in my reach at that moment.
Mm,
So I'd actually like to read a little snippet out of my book for the very reason why I wrote my book, if I could share this with you.
we would love that so much.
I share my story for one reason: that others might understand what is possible. I understand feeling alone and helpless. I felt like I would never be happy or safe again. But feelings don't tell us the truth about the future. I couldn't have predicted the horror I would face as a result of that attack, nor could I have predicted the beautiful life that was able to grow out of the ugliest circumstances imaginable. I have had the opportunity to, for the last 21 years now, work in victim services. And that experience has been truly and totally amazing. I was kind of working not directly with survivors. However, I got to hear their stories, and I had the opportunity to just, in a very small way, share my experience and share my story. And I thought, okay, I've done this. I'm going to check it off my list. This is part of my healing, along with, all the therapy and the journaling that I did along the way, and realized that I had really progressed because I had worked through it. It's very, very hard to work through trauma, because you want to go over and around and under it, because through it is very painful. And so I realized that people's voices are so shut down. They either feel um, uh, maybe they're feeling shame with it, or they're embarrassed. They don't want to share it. It's too hard. And as I shared my story to a very small group, it was really amazing, the small amount of people that were in that room, but the amount of people that actually experienced some kind of trauma. And that kind of opened my world up into a realization that, God was kind of pushing me, hey, I need you and I need your help, because people need, help and support. And so I really felt that calling. And that kind of led me to, start writing things down on paper. However, it took me about 10 years to get a book completed. It was one of the best journeys I've done in my life. So it's a blessing to be able to share it to the world.
I'd love to ask you some more questions about that, but first, I just want to express some gratitude that you did go through the process of writing and sharing this story. Um, I feel like a lot of people hear about some type of experience like you faced, or even people, face really traumatic experiences and they don't know where to begin going to start healing. So I feel like you've done so many people a great service by sharing your book, or sharing your message in the book. So, as you mentioned, that was a bit of a lengthy process, for probably a number of reasons, but specifically about working through and really facing those experiences and that trauma. So, could you talk a little bit about how writing this book, has impacted your life?
Yes, would love to. And it was that when I peered out the window and wondered how I was going to get through this, that's what really sparked my desire to, I've got to get this on paper, because I would love the opportunity to, inspire somebody, affirm somebody of those, of what they're going through, and that hope. Um, Writing the book has changed. I think the biggest way that it has changed my life is I feel so much more free to be me. There's another segment. Now that I say that, I would love to read out of my book that will kind of help explain that a little better. I tried to appear strong whenever I was around people, but my heart, mind, and soul, a perfect storm was brewing. Every activity, behavior, attitude, or habit that was comfortable before the attack became a trigger. Even the personality traits that had defined me, trust, independence, fearlessness, and innocence, were altered. I felt unrecognizable in every way, and I didn't know where or how to find my way forward. So when I read that, I put on a show for everybody. I didn't let people see what was really brewing inside of me. Now that my story and my journey is out, even though I've gotten to share my story in so many ways to so many audiences, and that's one of my favorite things to do, is just go out and share it anytime that I can, affirm somebody or work with first responders to help the healing of those survivors out there. Um, but it was, now I even feel more free just to be me. I don't have to put on that show anymore, or that act that everything is okay. And I think that's the voice that I really want to portray for people, because it is so hard to be vulnerable. And we are putting shame and blame and everything out. And this is so that people can be themselves, that's part of my hope, is that we can be free to be who we are. And what happened to me or anybody else who is facing some kind of trauma is not their fault.
Mm. Well, and I think, what you say there is so powerful, because clearly, even in a situation where you were the victim of something very horrible, you felt the shame and all of those side effects, that that you might not, realize or think that somebody going through that situation would feel, that those emotions or those feelings. And what a powerful way to work through, some of those experiences and really kind of find yourself again through the writing of this book. Um, what message do you want readers to take away from your book?
I'm so glad you asked. I mean, the biggest thing is hope. That word is part of my everyday vocabulary, that there is hope.
Mm.
Through all the darkest days came the best of days in my life. So many more good things have happened out of this experience than not. And therefore, I would like to read something else from my book and then expound upon that, because this is about gratitude. And it's about, we all walk around with some kind of story, inside, and it's how we're treating one another. Once you have received the gift of support from another human being during a difficult time, you understand more acutely the importance of being that lifeline for someone else when the tables are turned. I might never have known how to help someone find healing after a violent assault unless it happened to me first. Whether someone is facing a trauma similar to mine or dealing with a loss, disappointment, health, challenge, transition, or other life-changing event, your presence during a person's darkest days are more important than you can possibly imagine. Every word you say takes on unique importance when someone feels fragile because they are hearing everything through their layers of pain.
Mm.
We have the possibility to change somebody's life, to maybe in some ways save somebody's life. It's the smile we give them, it's the hello, it's the maybe they're going through some kind of pain and maybe they're not treating us nice. I always use this little scenario of because it's happened to me a lot of times where you're either in the drive-through or you're shopping in a store, and maybe the person who's working there is not being so friendly or nice when you're having an exchange with them. But I stop and I wonder what they're going through. And I turn the tables and I just am being nice and polite to them. And it does change everything for them. I've done that quite a few times now in my life and have seen the change in them and then wonder what they're going through. So it's definitely, I mean, the message is hope. It's affirmation that, I needed that affirmation from somebody. I'm hoping that I can offer that to somebody. It's also, I want to just say that, through my faith has been very important to me, and my favorite scripture. And every day I live by this is I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. So that has been a huge impact, but God placed people in my life to get me through this. I feel like those were my tools to get through the trauma and the darkest days of my life, because I'm here to tell you, and in my book, I present the darkest days because it's not easy. And that's the affirmation that I want to offer somebody who's going through something difficult in their life, that it can get better and it does get better. And hopefully that I can be part of that hope and healing for them.
Mm. Wow, Michelle. Thank you again so much for sharing about your experiences and about this book with me today. And I just love that message of hope that you have tied to your story, and your willingness again to go through the process of writing about your story for the purpose of helping offer that hope to other people. And I feel like even with just the title of the book focusing around the word found, you were found, and that battle after you were found was not easy, but you were able to work through it. And God put all of these different people and experiences in your life to help you through that journey. But I just want to comment that it's so clear that that hope is so part of your message, even from just the way that you have titled your book, Found.
Well, and I also want to say that, this is my book, but this is an actual crime scene photo. So it means a lot that I got to utilize that in my story. And it means a lot, as with gratitude, with my co-writer, Emily Sutherland. So again, just lots of gratitude. My book is about lots of gratitude too, for people, as with the subtitle. So
Amazing. Well, Michelle, thank you again for spending some time talking with me today. If somebody wants to reach out to you or learn more information about you, your story, or the book, what's the best way for them to reach you or connect with you online?
well, I'm so blessed to have a website. So it's michellecorrao.com.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much again for your time today, and congratulations on the launch of your book. We are so proud of you here at Morgan James.
Thank you. It's great to be part of the family at Morgan James. So thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. Bye.
God bless you. Bye.